Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herald here on Badlands Media. I'm your host, Jon Herold, and it is Thursday. It's almost the weekend. It's that awkward day where it's not quite the weekend, but you're getting close. It's almost like a Monday, except not Monday. I feel like I could end the show here. This has been a really good show so far. I feel like I've peaked already, and I think it's only going to get worse if I keep going. So I think we should just stop right now. No, just kidding. We're going to talk about sedition and treason because Trump has got some pretty awesome True Social posts. And there's a crazy video. I can't believe we haven't talked about on any of the shows recently. It came out like 2 days ago or something. All these Democrats basically telling the military to like not follow orders. I just keep forgetting to talk about it. So we're going to do that. But before we do anything, let's get a quick word from our sponsors. And first up, who do we got? We got Rise Attire. Let's get a word from Rise Attire.
What is the Sovereign Alliance? The Sovereign Alliance are a collection of leaders and countries that are aligned not in the vision for their countries, but against a vision that has been thrust upon them. I believe that the Sovereign Alliance is less a battle for something and more a battle against something. They are against globalism, collectivism. They are against the rules-based international order.
Sovereign Alliance, the latest addition to Badlands Rise merch, available now at badlandsmedia.tv/rise.
Awesome. Get yourself some Rise Attire gear. It's always fantastic. They have a new item that we're working on, which is going to be awesome. So once it's done, I'll show you guys. Also, a quick word from Benson Honey Farms. Guys, your prayers, very much appreciated. I know they appreciate them. I appreciate you guys praying for Mo. I have it on pretty good authority that she is back home and recovering there now. She was in the hospital in California for a long time, but she's back now. So again, thank you for the prayers and thank you for supporting Benson Honey Farms. They do have fantastic honey. Welcome to Benson Honey Farms, where every jar is pure gold. Benson's Honey is excited to be back on Badlands Media with their latest 2025 honey harvest straight from their farm in Nebraska. While they've been busy working to improve their state politics from the ground up, they've never forgot the importance of sharing the best honey around. Did you know honey isn't just a sweet treat? It's nature's medicine, perfect for alleviating allergies, soothing upset stomachs, or as delicious natural sweetener for baking. Benson Honey is never heated, ensuring you receive it in its pure, raw form, full of natural goodness. At Benson Honey Farms, quality and purity is top priority, and they're committed to providing the finest honey from hive to home. Join the supportive community and enjoy a special offer. Visit badlandsmedia.tv/honey and use promo code Badlands for 15% off your purchase. That's Benson Honey Farms. Savor the authentic taste of Nebraska and support America's. Every time I get hung up on this because it says support America's first business, but I'm almost 99% sure that they weren't America's first business. And I keep forgetting to change the ad read. But support an America first business. Follow on Facebook at Benson Honey Farms. And if they are America's first business, that would be news to me and everybody, I feel like. No update on the Doge website. I feel like they've just forgot about it altogether. It's wild stuff, guys. One update on the presidential website, nominations to the Senate. Nobody in here that's like jumping out at me. So, new director of the ATF was it Kash Patel, the acting director? I don't remember who. Let me see. Acting director of the ATF. Daniel P. Driscoll. I don't know what that is. Okay, well, never mind. I thought it was Kash for a second, but it's not. But let's take a look at this video because these guys probably shouldn't have said this.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members
Current
of the
douchebags.
military
And the intelligence community.
who take risks each day.
To keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals.
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
But from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
you must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
Or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
The music in the background is a little cheesy. Trump is not too thrilled about this video, and rightfully so. He's retweeted a whole bunch of people responding to it, like a whole bunch. And this is what he says. It's called seditious behavior at the highest level. Each one of these traitors to our country should be arrested and put on trial. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. We won't have a country anymore. An example must be set. Let's just read through some of these retruths. Why aren't they under arrest for sedition? Thrown out of their offices. It's called seditious conspiracy. Every one of them should be frog marched out of their homes at 3 a.m. with Fox News cameras filming the whole thing. I think they should be charged with sedition. Domestic terrorist Democrats, always causing chaos. Anything these traitors disagree with is what they consider an illegal order. And they can be brought to justice under the UCMJ, get busted down, or dishonorably discharged and lose their career benefits. Step right into that poop emoji. That's the ticket. Dems are closer and closer to being on their way out. Traitors, hang them, George Washington would. Unlawful is the key word, folks. Unlawful. Indict all of them. Sedition, insurrection, treason, on and on. And there was an article about it here as well. Democratic veterans in Congress urge service members to refuse unspecified, unlawful orders. This kind of thing, I mean, we all know exactly what they were doing here. And it is kind of wild that somebody, and maybe it was these Congress people, like just all got together over dinner or lunch and were like, we should make a video. Or somebody outside came in and like advised them to do it. Either way, somebody had the idea that they should record this video. And I don't know if it was worth it, but they're technically covered. Like what they said there, even though we all know the intent, I don't think we can like actually go after them. I don't think Trump can go after them for treason for that. It was a public video. It was kind of saying some vague stuff. And technically some of the things they said were true. Like, yeah, you remember you're not supposed to follow unlawful orders. Well, yeah, that's true. But we know what they're doing. What the part that stood out is like they're saying like this administration is trying to pit the U.S. military against American citizens or whatever. I wonder who they're talking about there. Are they talking about the illegal immigrants? Because that's really like been the big discussion point surrounding the military so far this term, is their involvement in helping ICE clean out some of these cities of illegal immigrants. Otherwise, they've just been bombing drug boats left and right. I'm trying to think of any other area where the military's been actively involved, and I can't think of any. So who are they talking about that they're trying to pit American citizens against the military, or the military against American citizens, whatever? The other possible explanation is I wonder if this is getting out ahead of something. A little conspiratorial, I know. Maybe a little wishful thinking. It just seems weird, especially the timing. You know, you could say the timing's suspicious with the Epstein stuff yesterday, and a couple days before that vote, you have them saying like, "Hey, yeah, military, don't forget." One or more of them will squeal like a stuck. Jen Cantrell, it would help the economy big time if they ramped up more deportations. Totally agree. Conspiracy to foment sedition. Is that, I don't know. I really, I mean, again, I totally understand what these people are trying to do here, but I potentially think there's a lot of overreactions on both sides. Like Trump, what he's saying here, even though he knows the intent, Trump can be hyperbolic. Look what he said: seditious behavior punishable by death. I don't know. I'm not there. And then you have like Chris Murphy on Twitter whining and crying like, "Oh my God, he said he's going to kill people. I'm so scared right now." Play that video. That's a great one too. Both sides overreact. It's kind of political theater. But here's the video from Chris Murphy.
The President of the United States just called for Democratic members of Congress to be executed. This is not normal. We cannot allow this to feel.
And technically, this post technically does not say Democrats. It was all the other posts prior to that that said, actually, did he reference Democrats at all in his direct post? Let me look at this for a second. He says it's really dangerous for a country, shares the article. The article says Democratic veterans. Technically, Trump did not say anything about the Democrats. He talked about the behavior being seditious. Then he just retruthed a bunch of things, other people's words. Trump, hey, I'm onto something. Trump is just saying that seditious behavior is punishable by death, which is true. And Trump isn't the one who made the law. Somebody a long ass time ago did that. Swear jar. But that wasn't him. He's being honest. This is a truth. And he never once mentioned the Democrats, but yet the Democrats, it feels like a trap. This is what they wanted Trump to say something, and he didn't even necessarily say it, but now they're free.
As far as I know, has never happened before in the history of the country. Every Democratic member of the Senate and the House, their life is in jeopardy right now, especially those that were specifically targeted by this social media post. Democratic senators and House members who were simply saying that no member of the military should act illegally or in violation of the Constitution. The President of the United States just called for members of Congress to be executed. If you are a person of influence in this country, maybe it's time to pick a fucking side.
Ooh, nice.
If you are a Republican in Congress, if you are a Republican governor,
you know he's serious when he says the F word. Like he means real business. Plus, he's got a little scruffle there. You know, he's a little shaved, but not quite. Some 5 o'clock shadow at 10 o'clock in the morning whenever this is posted. He's serious about this.
Maybe it's time to draw a line in the sand and say that under no circumstances should the President of the United States be calling on his political opposition to be hanged. We are at a very dangerous moment right now. The President is engaged in the wholesale incitement, endorsement, and rationalization of political violence in this country. This is a very slippery slope that we are on. This is a moment for people to step up, for Republicans to step up, for business leaders to step up. Anybody who has a voice or a soapbox in this country needs to draw a line in the sand and say that it is not acceptable for the President of the United States to call on the murder of his political opposition.
Trump didn't say any of that. What the hell is he talking about? See, I feel like they tried to bait him, And now he responded in a way that actually baited them. And when both sides are baiting each other, I feel like that's a circle jerk. I feel like that fits the definition. And so we have another news story that is a circle jerk. This whole thing is gay. And I think at that point we just move on. I think when you walk into a room and you see a circle jerk, you just shut the door and leave. And I think that's what we should do here. But if you guys want to keep watching, we can. I can keep going down this rabbit hole. But I feel like maybe we probably leave the house, leave this party, and move on to our next story. But that's up to you guys. So I'll wait and see what you guys say in the chat. He's wearing a rug, John. He is a rug. It's also, just Kevin, it's also not acceptable for members of Congress to tell the military or intelligence to not obey orders by a president. I know they said unlawful. You know, I don't think the Democrats in that video really said anything that was that wrong, even though we understand what they were saying. I don't think Trump really said anything that wrong, even though we understand like what he was saying too. Like it's both sides of the same thing. This is political theater. I know I'm not gonna talk about Epstein today. I don't think we're waiting for the Pam Bondi's desk to review the files. Money in the swear jar or get charged for seditious conspiracy? I don't know. The entire uniparty's after Trump. Yes, they have been since like day one, so that's nothing new. Badlands minifan. The Epstein plan didn't work out for him. Dems needed to create another Trump bad story to cover their asses. Yeah. It's going to be that way forever. Like they're just going to keep doing that until the media and the Democratic Party is dismantled altogether. We're not going to expect anything different. We shouldn't expect anything different. Kelly loves, good to see you. Kelly says, Chris Paul put out a great Substack on fake elections last night. I haven't had a chance to read it, but I did say that he put it out. And the quote that I read from it, it was fantastic. You know what? Let me find that real quick. Let me find the quote from the article. The article is called Elections Are Fake. It is time to stop pretending otherwise. And you probably never heard anybody talk about our elections this way. It's kind of a novel idea that they may not be totally legitimate. But this is what Chris said. This is the quote that he posted on social media. How long shall we continue pretending the people in control of the political parties, the processes, the government, the military, the corporations, and the money are letting us vote on whether or not they are allowed to remain in power? This is a ridiculous, childish notion. It is decidedly not how power operates. The least we can do is be mature about our predicament. Our votes are not determining the outcomes of elections except to the extent that our willingness to believe in the reported outcomes dictates the regime's ability to report certain outcomes without calling attention to the fakeness and total illegitimacy of our elections. If one candidate becomes seen as unable to win, no matter what the media does, no matter what the fake polls say, no matter what October surprises are generated by the fake news, the other candidate from the Uniparty will be named the winner. It's great stuff. Great stuff. So yeah, check that out, guys. Open.substack.com/pub/I'm your moderator. SJ Levine 47. You were right, John. This will keep going. Waking up sleepers. Maybe. I know a lot of people still have that opinion about a lot of what we're seeing is just to wake up the normies and whatever. And I don't have that opinion. I don't share that opinion anymore. I used to, for sure. I feel like it's hard for me to accept that. Because I feel like if that is the goal, we will be stuck there forever. And if anything, a lot of the news cycle these days, if anything, it's putting more people back to sleep. This whole America First psyop that we've been talking about, it's not being ineffective. It's not being super effective either, but it's doing some stuff. Oh yeah, Dick Cheney died a couple weeks ago, and his funeral is today. I chose to not sit there and decode the funeral. So I haven't watched any of that. Phil Scarborough, what about the Clintons dodging congressional hearings? Will they go to jail? I would love to see it. I know Comer says that he's going to give them the Bannon treatment, which Bannon went to jail. I would love to see that over subpoena. Is it about the Epstein files? I don't remember. PJ Corgan, I know who I'm not inviting to my next Circle Jerk party for $5. Thank you. I think I'm playing you in fantasy football again. And you know what? I don't know if I've seen you in my chat since the last time I played you in fantasy football and you beat me. But yeah, I'm playing you. And you have a better record than I do, but I have a better chance to win. Should be a fun game. I don't even have a kicker in there. I gotta find a kicker. I better do that. Somebody remind me to find a kicker so I don't lose to PJ Corgan. Did you guys see that Rachel Maddow was at Dick Cheney's funeral sitting next to Anthony Fauci? I find that a little weird. Kelly Loves Oak, I think the Corey Mills and Stacey Plaskett narrative is not over. I hope the Stacey Plaskett saga, the story ends with them not having a representative anymore. Like, what is, I don't even understand the idea behind that. What is the point? Obama's, I heard, did not go to Cheney's funeral. That is interesting, I guess. There will be plenty of decodes on X from the funeral. Yeah, I've already seen like stuff about wrinkled flags and I don't know, guys. We've done this for every funeral. And every time it's like we get the decodes that are like, oh, this means this means that. And this is a com and that's a com and all these things. None of it so far is checked out. We kind of talked about this on the Power Hour last night. It's kind of the whole trust the plan thing it's kind of a good gig. Like you get to comment on everything good as if you like knew it was coming the whole time. Anything bad that happens, you get to just say, well, obviously it was part of the full control plan. Like you never have to be wrong about anything. And you never have to actually explain your thought process about anything either. Like it's pretty, everything is always good. It's pretty crazy. I don't remember, that's not quite verbatim how we talked about it last night, but I would encourage you to tune in. Last night we did talk about the what did we talk about? Oh, we talked about the fourth Saab video, the new one, which dropped yesterday, which is pretty awesome. Even though there's a Pip of the Frog in it. We talked about the Epstein stuff for quite a while. And I think that was worth it. I don't know. Tune in, check it out. You're going down again, buddy. You wish, PJ. My playoff run begins today. Powski 2122. You do if you're worth a shit. I don't know what that means, but crazy lady. My coworker girlfriend went there with me this morning. Where? You guys go to the Cheney's funeral? Do you have to get like tickets to that stuff? Anyway, let's move on. I'm sick of spitballing. I think that's all the interesting True Social posts, but let me double check and make sure I didn't miss anything. Go to his anything from before. Hey, Ronaldo at the White House. Why does ABC fake news keep Jimmy Kimmel, a man with no talent and very poor television ratings, on the air? Why do the TV syndicates put up with it? Also, totally biased coverage. Get the bomb off the air. Every now and then, he pokes those narratives back to life. That's what he's doing here. According to one of the best opening 10 months for a president in USA history. Thank you. I love how he quotes it. It's great. Oh, this is interesting. Communist mayor of New York City, Zohran Kwame Mandani, has asked for a meeting. We have agreed that this meeting will take place at the Oval Office on Friday, November 21st. Further details to follow. Interesting. I'm very curious to see what Trump says coming out of that meeting. Like, he's called him communist directly. He endorsed Cuomo, but he's agreed to meet with him. It'll be interesting. That will be interesting. We have new jobs numbers. Let me find those. Where did I put them? Here we go. The delayed September report shows U.S. added 119,000 jobs, more than expected. Unemployment rate at 4.4%. Non-farm payrolls increased by 119,000 in September, up from the 4,000 jobs lost in August following a downward revision. The Dow Jones consensus estimate for September was 50,000. The July total was revised down to 72,000, a decrease from 7,000 from the prior release. In addition to the headline jobs number, the BLS said the unemployment rate edged higher to 4.4%, the highest it's been since October 2021. Broader measure that includes those not looking for jobs or working part-time for economic reasons edged lower to 8%. Average hourly earnings increased to 0.2% for the month and 3.8% from a year ago compared to respective forecasts for 0.3% and 3.7%. I mean, all these numbers are ridiculous anyway, but I suppose that's, the delayed report, that's adding that many jobs. That's good, especially as we continue to get rid of illegal aliens in this country. And then because of that news, the Fed is supposedly not likely to cut rates in December. According to the market odds, markets were last pricing about a 35% chance of a quarter-point cut from the Federal Reserve next month. That is higher than the 30% likelihood priced in during the prior session, but remains weak. The tool used Fed funds futures trading to calculate the odds. The target rate is currently at 3.75 to 4%. The report gave an uneven picture of the labor market, blah, blah. Anyway, we'll see what happens. It's like half a month away. Existing home sales see small October gain, but supply is now dropping. Bitcoin is also continuing to go down, last I saw, which is, again, more buying opportunities. Let me check out where we're at right now. Oh, yes, down to 86. That's the crazy thing about Bitcoin. Once I became a Bitcoiner or whatever, it's like you love seeing it go up, but you also love seeing it come down because you can get more. Badlandsme.tv/river. John could buy ABC with his trillions. They wish. Is Trump going to Cheney's funeral? Didn't they already have it? John, no American flag on Cheney's coffin. Is that okay, this is a total honest question because I don't know. Is that a normal thing for vice presidents? I don't know. I suppose I could ask ChatGPT while I'm waiting for the chat to answer. Hold for processing. Let's see. Let me go to a new chat. How do I go to a new chat on? Oh, there we go. Do vice presidents get an American flag on their coffin during their funeral? There is no automatic, publicly mandated requirement that a former vice president of the United States be draped in the U.S. flag at their funeral. However, it can and often is done as an honor based on tradition, family wishes, and ceremony. For military veterans, the protocol is clear. A U.S. flag is draped over the casket of a deceased veteran who served honorably in uniform. According to the American Legion and many sources on flag etiquette, there is no code or rule that says those who have served in the military can have their coffin draped with an American flag. What? There's no code. There's no rule that says only those. U.S. flag code covers how the U.S. flag is flown at half-staff or deaths of principal government figures, but doesn't specify a blanket rule that the flag must cover a casket of such an individual. They often receive ceremonial honors at the funerals, or that may include a flag-draped coffin, especially if they are also military veterans. But because it is not strictly required, the presence of a flag in such cases depends on the decision of the family, the type of funeral, and the protocol chosen. So is it really that big of a deal? There was a flag, they changed it out for a different cover in the church. And so my question is, for those who think this is notable, which I'm not dogging you guys for thinking it's notable, I just don't. But what is it? What is the conclusion you're coming to because of the fact that he didn't have an American flag on his coffin? That's where I want these decodes to actually tell me. So you're looking at this, you're noticing something, which is great. Everybody should notice things. But then what's the conclusion of that? Because there's two parts to analyzing things. You notice the thing, and then you explain what it means, or what you think it means, at least. How many VPs have had flags on their caskets? Good question. I don't know. They thought it said to put a wrinkled flag on the casket. I don't know. Again, if it means something, what are you saying that it means? It means nothing. I want to know who the other cover stands for, or what the other cover stands for. I don't know what other cover you're talking about. I didn't actually see that. Let's look. Cheney funeral. Is it this one? I mean, that just seems like a normal church flag. I don't know. Yeah, I don't see the need to decode that stuff, guys. Means nothing. I noticed there were no envelopes handed to the wives. Thank goodness. Well, if it's not required, there's no controversy. Exactly. But, as I'm saying, people got to decode everything. Need to do so. And so they do. Let's see what else I got. I already did the jobs report. There really wasn't anything crazy today. Trump did say, I'm not going to go behind the paywall, but Trump did say he would love to fire Powell. I don't know if that's breaking news. Let's see how Politico is framing that seditious behavior article. I know I said I wasn't going to go back to the circle jerk, but I want to see what they say. President Donald Trump on Thursday called for 6 Democratic lawmakers to face arrest and trial after they made a video encouraging U.S. service members and members of the intelligence community to refrain from following orders if they broke the law. Is that actually what he did, though? Hold on. I want to see exactly how he worded it in that article. Each one of these traitors to our country should be arrested and put on trial. Okay, so technically that's true. He did do that. The words cannot be allowed to stand. The president then reposted 16 true social posts, including one that advocated for the Democrats, for hanging the Democrats like George Washington would. And he says seditious behavior punishable by death. Yeah. Nothing burger, in my opinion. Here's some of the attendees of the funeral, I guess. That's loud. Kamala's there. Pence. I don't know, guys. You guys might be right about the Pence thing. We'll see. We shall see. But sitting next to Kamala Harris is not a crime. If anything, that might be a punishment. Yeah, no biggie. There's really just not that much interesting to talk about. A terrible American-Russian proposal to end the war in Ukraine. We talked about this a little bit last night. Peculiar new American-Russian plan to end the war in Ukraine has been presented to President Vladimir Zelensky just as he is grappling with a corruption scandal that marks his gravest crisis since the invasion. The plan, drafted without Ukraine's knowledge by Donald Trump's special representative Steve Witkoff and Vladimir Putin's envoy Kirill Dmitriev, appears to be little short of a demand for capitulation. Sources familiar with documents say it checks off many of the maximalist demands familiar with earlier Russian proposals and adds a few more. So not only are they going to go back to the original agreement, but they're going to get a little icing on top of that cake too. The plan, they say, is a 28-point document aimed largely at curbing Ukraine's military power once the war ends. It how do you say that word? Envisages a reduction in the number of. See, there's probably a better way to say this word. Let me look up what this means. Because I bet there's a shorter word. Don't make fun of me, guys. I'm retarded, remember. Imagines. They could have said imagines, but this pretentious douchebag needed to say this word just to trip me up. He probably knew I was going to read it. It imagines a reduction in the number of Ukrainian troops to just 40% at the current level, with no corresponding cut on the Russian side. Ukraine would be required to cede yet more territory beyond the large parts of its east and south already occupied by Russia. It would be barred from processing several classes of weapons, including long-range systems capable of reaching Moscow and St. Petersburg. No foreign troops would be allowed on Ukrainian soil. Planes used by foreign diplomats would be prohibited from flying to Ukraine, raising questions as to Russia's intentions for Ukrainian airspace. Ukraine would also be required to designate Russian as a second state language, and the local branch of the Russian Orthodox Church, disbanded over Ukraine charges that it is a tool of Kremlin propaganda and espionage, would be restored. They're basically like treating Ukraine as the war criminals in this situation, which it flies completely in the face of the narratives that the mainstream media has been trying to push. But the thing is, it's the truth. I'm waiting for this thing to be signed. No countermeasures from Quiet Coney. No countermeasures were deployed near DC. Cheney gave the stand-down order. Then the Pentagon was hit by a plane. Yeah. Stronger now. I quit watching some of the Q shows because everything to come, everything's a movie. People are faking deaths. It's just insane. I just watch Alpha and Josh now. They're not ridiculous. Yeah, they do a good job, those two. Rookie Irish, John, it's envisages. Yeah, you telling me what the word is after I already don't know the word does not help. I doubt Dick wanted an American flag anyway. I doubt it as well. DEFCON 0, they do a great job. They really do. It's much more palatable for me when it comes to the Q stuff, even though I don't agree with everything they say. Wealths of knowledge. And again, Badlands, we don't all need to agree on everything. That's the beauty of it. And we're in a good place right now with that. Bay Theater Dave, am I late? I do believe you're late. Cian Stewart shutting down the State Department is what I want to see. Yeah, they are shutting down the Department of Education. We're getting moves, we're told, in that direction. Shutting down the State Department would be great. What about shutting down the FBI and CIA and reconfiguring that? There's lots of, man, I could go through an entire list of government. We should make that a show someday. We need to think of a day that's like a super boring, there's literally nothing else to do. That could be a punishment, but having to go through every single government agency and like you have somebody there this is why we should keep that agency, and then somebody there this is why we shouldn't. And I want to be the guy this is why we shouldn't. And I would win every one of those arguments. LJ Christ, this is great. It says, from talking about a circle jerk to burying your dick. Oh my God, that's so good. Oh. Cheney was the highest ranking in DC on 9/11. Yeah, guys, that's one of the first times they implemented a continuity of government program while Bush was in the air. They couldn't get a hold of him, allegedly. I've read through those documents way back in the day. And by way back in the day, I mean like 2-3 years ago. Josh is what history of the world called a stand-up philosopher. Yeah, Josh is good stuff. Too long of a show, better to talk about the agencies to keep up. Richard Rohr, there was no plane that hit the Pentagon, John. It was a false flag. Do we know either way? You're probably right. I personally think it was probably a bomb, but I wasn't there. And there's really not enough evidence to prove it either way. But Brad's video makes a darn compelling argument. Is there anything else from... Yeah, just a boring news day, like I said. No, I already read that story. Dang it. Keith Kellogg is going to be done at his post just in time for the war to end. U.S. Special Envoy for Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, has told associates he expects to leave his post in January, according to 4 sources cited by Reuters, signaling the exit of one of Kyiv's strongest advocates inside the Trump administration. I don't know if I believe that, but maybe. Kellogg has been one of the administration's sharper critics of Russian strikes on civilian infrastructure and has clashed with Witkoff, who has echoed some of Vladimir Putin's arguments and pushed a territorial swap model for long-term settlement. News emerges as Ukraine faces fresh diplomatic pressure. 2 sources saying Washington has told the president that Kyiv must accept a U.S. drafted peace framework. I just love Kellogg from his J6 depositions. What is that noise? Oh, it's like a plane outside or something. PJ Corgan, Josh is only super ignorant about the shape of the earth. Is he a flat earther or a round earther? Kellogg has lied daily. I don't follow Kellogg daily. Keith Kellogg is going back to help Trump compose truths. Yeah, that was like one of my favorite decodes of Kellogg in his J6 testimony. He thinks it's round. So PJ, are you a flat earther? Confusing. You know what I'm getting real sick of? If I can vent for a little bit, since there's like not much news to talk about. When are we going to get more declassified documents? And I'm not talking about the Epstein files. I'm talking about since J6, and I've said this before, but we were on like a hot streak We were on a heater of getting declassified documents. John Solomon was giving it to us all day, every day. We haven't gotten any of that basically since Charlie Kirk's death. And that's weird. Like, why would his death pause the declass of like the Rico Grande stuff? PJ Corrigan says he's a heliocentric believer. I'm an unbeliever in both. I don't think it's either. I'm going to take the odd man out shape. I haven't decided what shape I think it is yet, but it's not round and it's not flat. It's probably like a triangle or something. John, did you finish the Richmond files? Not all of them. Not yet. That's like, are you talking about the Comey documents? I think that trial is set up. I think it's going to get dismissed. That judge is not pleased. It's the shape of Bayarthur's dick. Release all the files. J6, JFK, 9/11, Charlie Kirk, Trump assassination attempts, and Area 51. There's so many more documents than that too. It's the most transparent administration in history, guys. Still haven't gotten the National Resilience Strategy, which really grinds my gears as well. Don't know what the hell they're doing. But it has been a long time. It has been... We're just like a couple months away from it being a year, damn near. What is happening? Anyway, let's see if there's anything else going on Twitter. Otherwise, I'm just going to sign off early today. I think Ghost... Does Ghost do his show on Thursdays or Fridays? I never remember. Then we can hope and pray that tomorrow's a better news day. Or worse news day, or whatever it is. Ooh, is this OAN is to air exclusive sit-down interview with Secretary of War Pete Hegseth tonight on primetime. Is this his first sit-down interview? Exclusive sit-down, blah, blah. I don't remember. I don't remember him doing an interview before. All right, let's watch what Benny says here, because Joe Lang shared it. And after this, I'm going to be done. Read the rants, get out of here.
I don't think this is the end of John. I am not.
Nobody thinks it's the end of Donald Trump. It could be the end for the Democrats. You're watching it happen in real time. I love how you say, you look at it, Akeem Jeffrey. Oh, it's just a fundraising email. As if it were a Republican, your party, the media would not interpret it in the worst light. For example, it's amazing how the brilliant Jasmine Crockett thinks there's only one Jeffrey Epstein, and that one Jeffrey Epstein somehow gave money to Lee Zeldin. No, I know this is hard to believe. There is more than one Jeffrey Epstein, just as if there are more than one Jesse Waters, but only one Greg Gutfeld. He was a doctor who gave money, but she knew that, unless you think she is retarded, and I don't think she is. I just think she's deliberately pretended that she didn't know there might be another one. So when I talk about this is what I say is the big worry about this thing, and I'm for the release of them. You look at how these idiots are going to try to interpret everything in the worst possible way. So if you're caught in that net and your name is Jeffrey Epstein or your name is Jesse Waters, something that could be easily checked out. I'm not saying you're in the files. I'm just
looking down his notes. Keep an eye on that. I think it's silly.
Saying there's a high likelihood you will be. They will be extremely malicious in their interpretation. So we have to be on our toes. I do think that what's his name, Galloway? He's right. Be careful what you wish for. Because when something seems too easy, it's a trap. And I think you just handed Trump a paintball gun and you put targets on the Democrats because Epstein, I think 80 to 90% of his donations were all to Democrats. Epstein despised Trump. He was the only elite that wouldn't play ball with him. So, and then you look at like Larry Summers, you look at the, what is the billionaire? I can't remember. Reid Hoffman, you look at Bill Clinton, you look at Akeem, you look at the Virgin Island lady. It's only begun and it looks bad for you guys. I think that this is going to be a fun winter for Trump because once he goes in on this thing, he doesn't come out. He figured it out. He knows exactly how, when you guys bring it up, it's always going to go back to the Democrats every single time. And pretty soon you're just going to say, why did we do this? This is just like Russian collusion, but it's worse because now it ends with a huge, huge pile of mud all over us. The Russian collusion thing just went away. You guys were lucky you didn't go to jail.
I think mud is a generous way of putting it.
Should I have said feces?
Well, I wouldn't say that in
Our
our
word.
I mean, that take, I mean, it was good, but it's like the same thing we've been hearing for like 8 months. It's a little regurgitated, if I'm being totally honest. Let me find, I'm going to find the little outro video that apparently Brad made something about, this is what I voted for. I think this, so hold on, I just want to get the right time here.
The United States of America. And I think that that would be totally fine to President Trump and the administration. I think that that's been the goal the entire time. But that's not only the goal for the nation of Israel, but for every other country on earth. We don't want to keep funding anybody. I mean, President Trump's trying to decouple from NATO. You know, I mean, it's the exact same everywhere. They want all these other nations to support themselves and for them to stop taking advantage of the United States of America.
I think it starts right here. But before I do that, real quick, a couple rants that we had come through. Lee Walden said, would really like to see their live stream of Tribunal free or from Gitmo. Yeah, a lot of people want that, man. Alternative 94, curse words always make you super serious. South Park Al Gore reference. I remember that. PJ Horgan, I know who I'm not inviting to my next circle jerk. That's funny. And Beachbound 904, every military leader up to and including the commander-in-chief in 2021 was demanding that my son and all other servicemen be injected with poison. 100% unconstitutional. Totally agree. Have they all been put back in the military now and given the back pay? Because I thought that was going to be a thing. But anyway, guys, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. I'll be back again tomorrow right here on the Daily Herald and tomorrow night on OnlyLands. Sorry, it was kind of a boring day. It's not my fault. I don't make the fake news. I just talk about it and laugh at it sometimes. But we'll end on Brad's "This is what I voted for" video. I don't know how long it is, but we'll do it anyway. So you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time I see you.
Out a freaking doubt, man. And again, it's like these are things like the Epstein thing. I see people get frustrated with it. I agree. It's like these are things that just take away from all the good that's happening. So again, I put together a list of why I voted for President Trump and whether or not this is happening. So I voted for President Trump to rid our country of the illegal alien problem.
Amen.
He's unleashed ICE. He's unleashed Border Patrol, leading to over 2 million illegals leaving our country, either directly by ICE and or voluntarily deporting themselves. Thanks to today, the Supreme Court decision that just happened, ICE is about to ramp up and even go even harder than they've been going. So, boom, total check. I voted for teams like Doge to dig into the waste and fraud of our tax dollars. USAID has been rooted out and destroyed. Endless tax, rooted out and destroyed. Endless tax waste. Defense contracts like ones with Lidos and Booz Allen Hamilton cut down by hundreds of millions of dollars. Total Doge savings up to date over $200 billion and counting. Okay, I voted for a pushback on DEI and ESG. Federal DEI programs ended. On the domestic side of things, over 25 Fortune 500 companies publicly scaled back and or have ended elements of their DEI programs, including Walmart, Google, Facebook, Amazon, Boeing, Ford, Lowe's, Target, IBM, etc. Okay?
Yes.
Boom. Check on that. I voted for no tax on tips and no
hold
tax.
on. There, you missed the slide. There was the slide for DEI wasn't there, so now you're one slide ahead. There we go.
I voted for no tax on tips and no tax on overtime. Both are now law. You can claim up to $25,000 tax-free on both. Okay.
Yeah.
I voted for reforms to the poisons in our food. Petroleum-based food dyes are already being phased out. Most of them are slated to be fully removed by 2026. The CDC has ceased recommending COVID-19 vaccines for children and pregnant women. 2 states have banned fluoride, Utah and Florida, with bills being introduced in 16 other states to varying levels of success. The CDC has also ceased recommending fluoride. They review on its risks. You have all 17 members of the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, aka the Vaccine Board, have been retired and replaced with new members such as Dr. Koldorf and Dr. Robert Malone. So that's a complete shift right there. I voted for reduction of our bloated government. Since taking office, the Department of Education's been cut in half, thousands of staff cut. Department of Energy, over 3,000 cut. USAID, like we just mentioned before, over 10,000 cut. HHS staff has been cut by estimates of almost upwards of 50,000, some people have suggested. HHS divisions have been consolidated from 28 to 15, along with thousands of more cuts across agencies like NOAA, Commerce, Homeland Security, the Treasury, EPA, to grand totals across the government approaching 300,000 government positions. Okay, I voted for our border to be protected. The border wall is being finished as we speak, with $46.5 billion in new contracts being opened up from the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, going directly towards the smart wall, leading to billions in new contracts that have just been opened up by September for adding hundreds of additional miles of border wall. Drug trafficking over the border is at an all-time low. Narco terrorists trying to transport drugs across our water getting blown into the freaking netherworld right now. Okay. Boom. I voted for this. I voted for the orchestrators of Spygate to face consequences. James Comey is about to be put on trial, with all accounts pointing towards Brennan being on deck. Okay. I voted for the fakes who tried to put Trump in jail, and God knows how many other countless low-level names who didn't deserve it, to face consequences. Letitia James is about to be put on trial. I voted for Trump to open up resources. I voted for Trump to open up our resources, as like Anwar and the Ambler Road Project, all the way, both of those up in Alaska, which will sell copper mining. He's opened up Anwar as well. He's renewed oil contracts that Obama and Biden systematically shut down. He is opening up America once again. But most of all, I voted for a world-class businessman to start being the one making the deals for the United States, right? Since taking office, President Trump has brought in trillions of dollars in foreign deals. UAE, potential $1.4 trillion over 10 years. Qatar, $1.2 trillion in economic exchanges. Japan is up their existing investment levels by $1 trillion. Saudi Arabia, we were just talking about yesterday, about investments approaching another $1 trillion in updated commitments. There have been various corporate tech companies like NVIDIA, Apple, TSMC, who have announced investment figures in the tens or hundreds of billion dollars each. And this is what I voted for, right? President Trump is taking on the world right now. And for the American people, along with his administration, has made tons of progress in this first year. I'm more MAGA than ever, and I refuse to let cherry-picked whataboutisms derail any of this. I'm a little salty about what's been going on.
Let's get started.
That's what she said.
Oh, that's real good. stopping me.